Hi, welcome to our Standing Out with Your LinkedIn Profile webinar. I'm gonna wait another minute or two before we kickstart for other people to join. In the meantime, feel free to ask any question that you might have. And I'm gonna ask a question for the ones that are already here. When was the last time that you updated your LinkedIn profile? And what was the reason for it? Was it because you were looking for a new job or you had a major change in your career? What was the reason why you decided to change your LinkedIn profile the last time that you did? Hello, welcome to our Standing Out with Your LinkedIn Profile session. Today we're going to talk about the 7 must-have sessions to any profile on LinkedIn. The event today is going to be recorded and it's going to be live, available after on my LinkedIn for anyone to watch as well. I'm going to wait another minute before we start. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And if you feel like it, tell me what was the reason why you decided to change your LinkedIn profile the last time that you did. And how long ago was it? I'm already going to start sharing my screen, but we're going to wait another minute or two. Also, feel free to tell me from where you're watching this webinar today in the chat. Lisbon? Okay. Really close to me. Let's kick it off. We do have a lot of things to cover today. We're going to talk about LinkedIn profile. Why is this relevant? What are the key things for you to have in mind when you're creating yours or updating and optimizing your LinkedIn profile to make sure that you're standing out and making a very good first impression. Like I said in the beginning, the event today will be recorded so that you can watch it again in the future. A note that I'll give to you now is if you have a second screen, feel free to open your LinkedIn profile and try to do the changes together with me during the webinar. This is our agenda for today. We're going to start talking about the importance of a LinkedIn profile. Then we're going to discover what are the most must-have sessions that you need to have on your profile to make sure that it's found more easily and that when people find it, it stands out. Then I'm going to talk about what's next, what is the next step for you in this journey and some news. And we're going to have some Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Don't wait until the end of the session. And I'm going to try to be answering them throughout the session as well. But also we have some time at the end block for this. Before we start, let me quickly introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Mariana Lima. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a marketeer with 17 years of experience working across industries. I like to say that I'm a marketing specialist, a social selling enthusiast, a social media manager, content creator, planning freak, and a passionate about building new relationships and trying to get to know more people. I'm originally from Brazil, living in Lisbon now, in Portugal. Who knows where the journey will take me in the future. I have a master in marketing management, a master in business management, and a bachelor in business. But enough about introductions. Let's talk about the topic for today. Why do your profile on LinkedIn matters? There are over 1 billion people on LinkedIn. That's huge. There's a lot of different profiles. How to make sure that yours stand out? An optimized profile will make it easier for your next great deal to find you. Whether it is a new job opportunity that you're looking for, be seen as a thought leader, a trusted advisor in your industry, build more pipelines for your business. And the reality is 82% of people will look you up on LinkedIn before reaching out to you. Let's say that you send an email to someone. Before replying to you, they're gonna go look you up. If they haven't heard about you before, this is gonna be the first reality check that they're gonna do. Does this person sound trustworthy? Does it make sense for me to reply to them? If the information that they find there is not relevant, they're not gonna be replying back to you. So your first good impression is not gonna be that good. Also, a good LinkedIn profile helps you build authority and thought leadership. You want to be seen as a trusted advisor in your industry. You might be a senior director, a VP, or a high executive, but if your profile on LinkedIn doesn't translate this might be the reason why you're not getting the results that you want. Last but not least, let me ask you something. Would you hand out an outdated business card to a prospect or important client? I'm 100% you wouldn't. So why are you doing this with your LinkedIn profile? Making sure that people all over the world 24/7 can find you and not have a good impression. Maybe they're going to find the information of the previous role that you have, or they're going to find something that doesn't translate who you are as a professional right now. So now it is the time for you to really think about your personal brand and your digital footprint. What is the message that you want to share with the world? Having this all in mind, let's start talking about what are the sections that you need to update on your profile. I'm not going to wait until the end for you to have the seven sections. These are all the things you need to have in mind. For the basic configuration, of course, there's many more things that you can do to have a complete and optimized LinkedIn profile. But if you can check these 7 things, you're already in a very good start. Today, we're going to talk about the profile URL, the profile picture, the profile banner, your headline, the About section, your work experience, and the featured section. I'm going to tell you what these sections are and how to optimize it, and why it's important for you to have those in consideration. Starting with the profile URL. Not everyone knows that they can update their LinkedIn URL to make it more user-friendly and nicer to the eyes. Let's have a look at these 3 examples that I have here. What is the message that these profile URLs are sending you? They have a lot of random numbers at the end. They're not adding any kind of value. And if we look at the third one, it even has some random things in the middle because this person has a special character in their name and they decided to add this into the URL. Remember that the URL is a link on the internet, so it needs to be as user-friendly as possible. But if you don't know that you can change it, this is something that never caught into your eyes. But this is one of the first things that I look when I go into someone else's profile. Whenever I find some random numbers at the end, the image that it sends to me is that this person is not a heavy user of the platform. How can we change this perception? If you look at mine, it's just my name and my last name. It's easier, it's catchy. If I want to add this into a business card, a presentation, an email, it is easy, it's user-friendly. If you want to change yours, all you need to do is go on LinkedIn, on your profile, and here at the top, you see the public profile and URL. By clicking on this pencil, this will open a new tab where you can change the ending part of your profile URL. Anything that comes before the Lima Mariana that you see here, you can change it. But everything that goes at the end, you can. So first things first, remove the numbers that you see there at the end of your URL. Then try to think about what is the common name that people know you in your industry. Is it Mariana Lima? Is it something else? You can also go beyond and add some keywords here. So if I couldn't have Mariana Lima or Lima Mariana, I could add a social selling at the end, or personal branding or marketing, to make sure that not only people find me, but they quickly understand that this is the right Mariana Lima that they want to engage with. Think about yours. The simplest things for you to do is just have your name there. But if you want to go beyond, add one keyword. Now let's talk about one of the crucial things for you to start building trust and credibility, your profile picture. Many people think that they do have a picture there and it's visible for everyone. But it happens more times than I wish it happened that I go into someone else's profile, a high executive in a big company, and what I see is this avatar. I don't know who's the person behind that profile. This happens because they include a profile picture but make it visible only for their first degree connections. Meaning, if I'm not connected to them, I can't see their picture. You see, what happened here is that I'm not building trust with that person. I don't know who's behind that profile. I'm not sure if this is the right person that I want to connect with. So, what we need to do is start building trust in the first impact. So, having a high quality and recent picture that makes it easier for people to recognize who you are and start building trust, even before they decide if they want to connect with you or not. If you have a picture that looks like it was taken 5 years or 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago, it's not going to help you build your authority and your thought leadership. We need to make sure that you have a friendly face, you're smiling and looking at the camera, almost like you were there engaging with that person live on the moment that they got into your profile. My final note for you is prefer color pictures versus black and white. I do love some black and white pictures, but when we put those two pictures side by side and knowing that the only difference between the one on the right and the one in the middle is that one is black and white and the other one is colored, we can see the impact of having a colored picture. The black and white is a bit more dramatic, cold, doesn't inspire like a real person. As the one in the center, it feels like there's a real person on the other side. So always choose the color versus black and white. Now, still without scrolling through your profile, the other thing that people will immediately see when they land there is your banner. Look at the difference that we have from these two pictures. Here, the only difference is that one doesn't have a background image and the other one have. If we look at the first picture, the one on the top, what is the message that this profile sends to us? Somehow it's abandoned. No one is there. It gives an idea that the person is not a heavy user of LinkedIn. And they are also missing out a huge opportunity to tell a bit more about their story. What is important to them? Send a message to their audience. A picture can give a lot of insights to your audience. In this case, I decided to go for a more personal picture. I told you in the beginning that I'm from Brazil. Here I have a picture of Christ the Redeemer. Yes, if you know about Christ the Redeemer, you're gonna know from even without scrolling that I'm Brazilian and I come from Rio. So I'm giving some insights about who I am to the viewer. You can have this as, for example, more professional if you prefer. So if marketing, communication, social selling are the keywords that are most important to me, I can go on Unsplash, for example, and try to find some pictures. I'm gonna share the link here into Unsplash if anyone would like it. And you can quickly go there, type it into the search bar, what is the keyword that is important to you, and find a picture and put it into your profile. Whether you go for personal, a professional, or branded from your company, most big companies have already some LinkedIn banners for you to use. Just make sure that you don't have this grayish view that we see here. This looks really bad on your profile. It's not helping you with the algorithm on LinkedIn. It's not helping you to build credibility and trust. It's not helping you tell your story. This is prime placement for you to showcase your expertise. Everyone that goes into your profile will see this part. Then we go into our headline. I risk saying that this is one of the most important sections of your profile. It goes with you wherever you go in the digital space. If you post something, your headline is going to be there. If you comment into someone else's post, your headline is the first thing that they will read it. If you share something, if people go into your profile, even if I Google you, I'm gonna find your headline. If we look at the examples that we have on the top, all we see here are job titles: marketing director, EMEA operations director, digital performance manager. Okay, it is important for me to understand what is your role. What are you doing within the company? But are you telling me that this is all that you are? There's nothing more than this. I like to think that job titles and roles are transitory. I might be a marketing director today, I might be a communications manager the other day, I might be something else. It's very fluid. I might get a promotion, I might change roles, I might change companies. My keywords and my personal brand shouldn't be solely attached to the company that I work today. Your personal branding is yours. It goes with you wherever you go. So here, I'm going to start talking about the three things I think you should have in mind when crafting your headline. Think about your role, yes, especially if you are in a management position. Then you can have your role here to make sure that right away you're establishing trust and credibility based on your role. But then go beyond this. Add some keywords to make sure that people quickly understand what are the core topics for you. If you want, finish it up with a quote or a value proposition. If we look at the examples that we have on the bottom, below the yellow line, these are all examples of previous headlines that I had in my profile. I've been working with marketing for 17 years. No matter what I do, in any position that I have, it's always going to be something about marketing. This is what I do. This is my knowledge, my thought leadership that I'm building. So marketing and communication should be here as a key thing. I have some other keywords and I finish it up with what is my value proposition. What I want to do through my profiles are helping people grow their digital footprint. I'm going to give tips and tricks on how to leverage their presence through their profile, through their content, through the engagement. It's easier for people to understand what to expect from me when I highlight this into the headline. So remember this: if your job role is important to you, add it here, but go beyond. Add one or two keywords that are also important to you. If you don't want to add a quote or a value proposition, think about 3 keywords to add it here. But try to make sure that you're sending the right message to your audience. People are finding you based on what you write here. And even if I Google you again, I'm going to find this headline. I'm 100% sure that you're way more than just the job title that you hold right now. Now let's have a look at the first impression. I got here an example from a global leader on a big company. If we look at the example that we see here, his URL is not optimized. He doesn't have a background picture. He does have a profile picture, but I hid it for privacy reasons. His headline only tells me that he's a global leader. Nothing more than this. When we look at my example, my URL is optimized. I have a banner, I have a picture and a headline. People didn't scroll through, but I'm delivering them a lot of information about who I am or why they should be engaging with me. This is what is going to help people decide if they want to continue on your LinkedIn or not, if they want to scroll through and discover more about who you are as a person, as a professional. So we need to make sure that this first part of our profile really stands out, really get people attention and make them want to click on connect or accept our connection request. Assuming that people decided to continue scrolling through, what is the next section that we need to think about? It is the about section. Here is our opportunity to go deeper into who we are as person and professional. Again, I like to divide this section into three main blocks. We're going to start with what drives us and motivates us. Try to bring a bit of the emotions. What is it important for you? Here, I start saying that get to know people and new cultures. It's what drives me and motivates me to do what I do. I love building relationships. Based on this, I hope that people are more interested into what I do and click on see more and read more about my journey. So my second paragraph tells about the journey that I have. What are the paths that I've worked? What are the industry that I've been? What are the roles that I had? How did I got into the position that I am right now? To finish it up, I like to have a call to action. What is the logical next step that I want people to do? Do I want them to connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on LinkedIn? Or do I want them to send me an email or visit a website or maybe even call me? Think about what is the next step that you want when building your relationships on LinkedIn. Making it easier for people to take the next step. If I find someone on LinkedIn that has 10,000 or 15,000 followers, I might get intimidated to sending a connection request. I'm not sure if they will accept it or not. If they stated into their about section that they are open to connect with people within the same industry or within the same interests, it's easier for me to get the courage and send a connection request. We're going to talk about connection requests and networking in future events and also on the content that I'm sharing. But for now, just have in mind that it is important for you to lay down the foundations and say what you expect people to do. A bonus tip for you is to add your top skills. Think about what are the most important 5 keywords to your profile. Is it marketing, communication, social selling, personal branding, technology, AI? Having those keywords in mind, think about the most important 5. Go ahead and add it into your skills. This will help not only the LinkedIn algorithm to find you and to present your profile to people looking for people like you, but also for others when they go into your profile to understand what to expect from you. Anyone that goes into my profile might expect that I'm going to be talking about these core topics: social selling, personal branding, coaching, social media, and thought leadership. Make it easier for people to understand how you can help them and how you can support them in their journey. Then we go into our experience section. Here, what I see most people doing is having their company logo and their job role. And this is it. There's so much more that we can have into our experience section. Look at what we have here. So there's the logo for the company. Make sure that when you go into your profile, you see your company logo here. Unless you work in a company that doesn't have a LinkedIn company page, then you're going to be seeing an avatar here. But otherwise, you should expect to see the company logo here. If not, you didn't link it correctly. Then yes, you're going to have your job title here. Here's the best place for you to have it. But we should go way beyond this. First, thinking about our description. How do you differentiate yourself as a person and a professional in doing what you do? And I do know that there's a lot of people that have common roles like marketing director or CEO, and we expect people to understand what is the description of a role. But this can be very, very different. A marketing director in a company can be responsible for paid ads, social media management, content creation, or offline strategies. Depending on the type of business that you're working, your skills can be completely different. So you need to explain to people what to expect from you. What are your core expertise and knowledge? I like to divide this section also in to think about 3 things: what you do, why you do it, and how you do it. So let's do a quick example with my profile. The what I do is stated in my headline: help people grow their digital footprint. Why I do it is because I want to help them unlock new business opportunities, whether it is a new job or if they want to build more pipeline. How I do it? Through sessions like this, one-on-one coaching, group sessions, sharing content on LinkedIn. So now that I have the what I do, why I do it, and how I do it, I just need to put it nicely in a sentence and put it here. If you go into my profile, you're going to see that I share a lot of content and that I have a lot of information into each session. There are two reasons for this. One, because I really like to write, and two, because I think it helps the algorithm to find my profile and find relevancy into it. But you don't need to have that much text into your profile. Just think about why, what, and how you do, and try to explain in simple words in every section. We could have stopped there. There's more that we can do. You can add your top skills. So if we look at our profile, we can have up to 50 skills associated with our profile on LinkedIn. But not all of them are relevant to the role that you have right now. So try to think about 5 or 10 skills that are relevant to you and that you want to add into your current role. Add them into your current and past roles to make it easier for LinkedIn to also understand what are the most important things for you. Last but not least, add some rich media into your profile and your experience session as well. I tell you that I'm hosting webinar sessions and doing some trainings, but how can I prove to you that I actually do it? So here I have a picture of me hosting a webinar, another one, an internal training, more webinars, more webinars. Instead of just telling you that I'm doing this, I'm showing you. If I tell you that I create business cases for the customers that we have, here's the example. If you want, just click here and go there, read it. See the impact and the delivery that we have. Look at the difference from this than if I only had the company name and the job title. There's so much more value that we can bring. It also allows people to understand better. It's more dynamic and really helps our profile to rank higher on LinkedIn. So make sure to have those things in mind when you're crafting your LinkedIn. And then we reach the featured session. And again, is a section that there's so much more that we can do. Not everyone has this section already pre-configured into their profile, but you can go and add any section that you don't see on your profile, but you see on mine. The featured session can be used in multiple ways. The way that I like to use it is to highlight relevant content that I share or any kind of content that I feel like contributes to building my thought leadership and to be seen as a trusted advisor in my industry. So I participated in a podcast. This looks good for me. I'm hosting a webinar. This is also something interesting. But this featured session is very dynamic. After this session today, I'm going to remove the webinar from here. I'm going to add something else. The idea here is that people can quickly see relevant contents that are interesting to us, that are relevant to us, and that we want to highlight. For example, 2 years ago, I shared a post that made a huge difference in my life. I got a lot of engagement, a lot of nice comments, and new connections. From these posts, a lot of new opportunities came. This post is featured into my profile. Why? Because if it's a post from 2 years ago, you're not going to see it if we just connect today. I want to make sure that everyone comes here and see this post because I'm really proud of it. It was a really nice story to tell. So you can have a lot of different ways of looking at your featured session. This is how I look at it, but there's so much more that we can do. These are the options that you have to add content into your featured session. The first 3 are native content from LinkedIn. Any post that you do, you can highlight them in the featured session. If you have a newsletter, you can also put it here. And if you wrote any kind of article that you want to highlight, you can also add this information here into the featured session. What else can we add? You can add the link to any website that you want. Your company website, a blog that you have, a YouTube video that is interesting, a blog article that you wrote that talks about a topic that you're interested in. Found something about technology, healthcare, AI, you can get this link and add it here. Even if you didn't write the article itself, it's for you to showcase to people what are the topics that are interesting to you. If you've been into an event, you can add a picture of you there, even if you were there just as an attendee, not a speaker. It's showing people that you're up to date into what's happening into your industry, you're participating into events, and you're out there. My suggestion to you is try to have at least 3 featured items and make sure that they are not all company related. Have at least one that is a bit more personal or a content that you share. Make this section dynamic and try to add different things here every now and then. So every 3 months, come here and change something. Let's have another look at the difference between the global leader that we saw a few slides ago to my profile. When we compare the two profiles, all of the sessions that we saw after the first scroll, he doesn't have it. The only session that he has is the experience session. And even when we look here, look at the difference from he has a description, but he doesn't have the skills and he doesn't have the rich media. So it's very, very different. The About section is a chance for you to explain to people what you do, how you build value to them. Make sure that they understand who you are beyond your headline. It is a chance for you to go deeper and explain why marketing, technology, AI are relevant to you. The featured session brings light into your profile and allows people to see relevant content from you. And the experience session, we just talked about it. So make sure to really build this profile in a way that you stand out. It's not just a boring random profile that we find there. It's packed with information and allowing us to start building a connection and a relationship even before sending the connection request. Remember, people will look you up before deciding to reply to your outreach, whether it is if you're sending them a connection request or if you're sending them an email or engaging with them with an event. So make sure that your profile stands out. You have relevant information there. Don't just hand out an outdated business card to your most important clients, prospects, and future recruiters. If you're just starting now your work experience, you don't have a lot of information, but make sure to add all the other sections and add more to the story. What's next? So for everyone that is here today, what I will do is I'll do a profile scan to make sure that I'm gonna give you some tips. So that's why also I ask you for the URLs on your profile. There are up to 24 things that you can change into your profile. I'm gonna give you 3 tips for your profile specifically. So now, for us to really make sure that the ones participating today are the ones getting more value for this, because you gave me the time on the live session for this, I will ask you to quickly add a comment into the chat, and I'm gonna go into your profiles and I'm gonna give you 3 tips for you to update it and make sure that you start standing out today. Then, what's next that we can do? Like I said, our journey on LinkedIn, our journey on the digital space starts with our profile, but there's so much more that we can do. If you have a really good and strong profile, but you're not active, you're not visible there, it's going to be harder for people to find you. So there are other building blocks that we have here. Our connectivity, how well we are catering and caring for our network, and how proactively we are finding new people. Then there's the engagement that we give, remembering that this is a social media, so we need to be social. Finishing up with our content sharing. What is the content that you're creating? What is the relevancy of the content that you're sharing? Are you just sharing for the sake of sharing because someone told you that it is important? Or are you really creating content and sharing something that is meaningful for your audience? If you want to know more about this boosting your social strategy, Stay tuned to the content that I'll be sharing. Reach out to me if you want to. We can talk about other things that we can do together. I'll be having webinars about those topics too, but just have in mind that your profile is the first start. But there's so much more after this. And then a new thing here is I'm launching the Virtual Coffee, a project that I have in the pocket for over 7 years. And now I saw, hi Hafa. The Virtual Coffee is a project that I have in my pocket for 5 years already, wanting to launch, but never had the time for it. And now I decided to really put it there. It's going to be mainly a YouTube channel, but also I'm going to be sharing things on TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. So if you want to know more, I'm going to be sharing a lot of information. I'm going to share the links for every social handle for everyone that register in the webinar for you to really get more information. I'm going to be sharing every week a new content. So stay tuned and follow me on all of these social media as well. Now, that's all for me. I'm gonna leave 5 minutes for questions, comments, and any kind of feedback that you might want. But before we go, I'm gonna invite you to scan this QR code if you wanna connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're not connected yet, scan this code and just send me a connection request. Now, I'm gonna go to the chat to see the comments. If you have any other comment, feel free to type them in the chat. Hafa is saying, I guess already started my personalized profile last year, but the tips are always welcome. Good, Hafa. I think that there is so much change happening on LinkedIn every month. I would risk to say even every week, that there's so much more that we can do. I'm 100% that many people here already have a good LinkedIn profile, but there are some hidden features that not everyone knows, and I'm going to be looking, and hopefully I'm going to find some profiles that there are not 3 tips to give. So you're already way ahead of things. Does anyone have questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay, I'm gonna leave here just another link. I'm not sure if everyone knows about the social selling index. I think it's a very good metric for us to understand the power of our profile, how well we are using the platform. And a quick note on the social selling index. 4 different pillars, 1 big number that states your score. 4 pillars going from 0 to 25. Personal branding, finding the right people, engaging with insights, and building relationship. If you have questions on those, if you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. Also, staying here for another minute. Otherwise, if you don't have question, thank you so much for registering for the event, joining me today, and looking forward to see you all on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Have a great day, and thank you for joining. Does anyone have questions? Thank you, Hafa. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope to see you all very, very soon in future sessions and also on social media. Have a great day. Bye.